Welcome to NCE News Wrap, sponsored by Ground Force Shoreco, where we bring you some of the month's biggest stories in a quick 5-minute roundup. Major news this month includes TfL's announcement that the central section of Crossrail between Paddington and Abbey Wood will open to the public on the 24th of May. The reveal comes more than 3 years after the line's original December 2018 opening was delayed, and the project has been subject to continual setbacks and cost overruns since. The total estimated cost has risen from an original budget of £14.8 billion to £18.7 billion. In other news, the bank branch of the Northern Line has reopened, signalling the end of the bank blockade. Work on the upgrade has been ongoing since 2016, but the last 17 weeks have seen the Northern Line between Moorgate and Kennington blockaded, while engineers worked to connect the new tunnels and prepare the new concourse. Despite reopening, work on the bank upgrade continues with 12 new escalators, 2 new lifts, 2 new moving walkways and improved access to the DLR, all to be completed by the end of 2022. Work is also continuing on HS2. This month saw HS2 Limited announce its first diesel-free construction site, the Canterbury Road Vent Shaft site in South Kilburn. SCS JV have introduced diesel-free technologies and greener equipment, including one of the UK's first 160-tonne emissions-free fully electric crawler cranes. HS2's Air Quality Manager Andrea Davidson explained how the Canterbury Vent Shaft site's location means diesel-free construction can have a real impact.
It's quite constrained in terms of the boundaries. We have residents right near the site, as well as a school in really close proximity. So it's really important that we looked at cleaner, more efficient ways of doing things. And having the site as diesel-free means reducing emissions, and reducing emissions and noise really does result in reducing impacts on all the surrounding communities, as well as making it a safer and cleaner place to work.
The site is also being used to consider new materials options, for example reducing carbon in sprayed concrete linings.
We need to be very careful about how we proceed with this sometimes. The diesel-free is a fairly straightforward move that we can actually make. New technologies needs to be brought into that. With regard to some of the change in materials around carbon in particular, we need to think of the longevity of those materials, particularly when we're building a railway for many, many years to come, and making sure that's integral for all that period of time.
Meanwhile, tunnelling on London's 25-kilometre Tideway super sewer is now complete, some 4 years after work began. The final drive finished at Abbey Mills pumping station in East London, and to mark the end of tunnelling, a live musical performance took place 70 metres underground. I took a trip to Tideway's Greenwich pumping station site to find out more about the work there. The final connection tunnel into the sewer completed its 4.6-kilometre journey between Greenwich and Bermondsey at the start of April, just before the rest of tunnelling completed. A key challenge involved the TBM itself, which was manufactured in Germany before being dismantled, shipped and then reassembled in the 50-metre deep shaft in Greenwich.
So the original plan was to bring the TBM, whole via the river, and then transit the TBM on road all the way down from the O2 Arena down to site here. That was quite a challenging task, and due to the risks involved in getting it here by road, we decided to change the plan. It knocked a bit of time onto the programme, but it removed the risk element, and it meant we had to build the TBM again here in the shaft and launch the TBM here from the shaft. So that was one of our biggest challenges that we came over.
Another challenge was the geology and the approach to spoil removal.
Yeah, so we're tunnelling through chalk here. The entire drive is through chalk. One of the Tideway's main goals for all their sites was to get as much logistics done on the river as possible. We have quite a difficult challenge here because we're not on the river itself. Like I said, we're inland, so we're on a bit of a creek, a tidal creek. So we had a challenge here given to us by Tideway to take away about 20% of our spoil. We managed to get 40% away, which is a huge achievement for this site. It meant getting 2 barges in on every single tide on the creek, and getting 2 full barges out, it reduced the road capacity, and the amount of lorries we used significantly on the job. So it was a great achievement by everyone, really.
Remaining work includes secondary lining, connection and testing works, so despite the end of tunnelling, it still looks like a busy year ahead for the project. Thank you for watching NCE News Wrap. Join us again next month for another roundup. This news wrap was brought to you by New Civil Engineer in partnership with Groundforce Shoreco. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content, but for now, here's a bit more information on our sponsor.
Groundforce Shoreco are the leading supplier of shoring equipment in the UK and Ireland, delivering first-class engineering and designs, exceptional service, and the highest quality kit for over 40 years, from the smallest excavations to the largest. Groundforce Shoreco, experts in excavation safety.